And you know what? I admire you guys for you guys have chutzpah, you got balls, you're trying something on for size. And I like to talk about all kinds of subjects, and I'm not afraid of who the audience is. I say what's on my mind. I throw the microphone back to yous.
It's the Anybody Can Do This show.
Yes, here we go again, give you more, nothing lesser. Back on the mic is the anti-depressant. No pressure, yes, we need this.
What it do, nephews? It's your boy, neighbor Nick, and welcome to Season 7, Episode 10 of the Anybody Can Do This show. As always, I'm joined on the couch in HQ by my college roommate, Yoga Ralph. Ralphie, how the hell are you?
Pretty good.
What's going on? Happy midway point of Season 7. Crazy. We've already done now 10 episodes, but how you feeling halfway through the season?
Time is irrelevant.
Oh, yeah, yes, we know that from the Zeds video.
Feeling like time is irrelevant still.
Oh, man. Well, time is not irrelevant because we are very quickly approaching Saturday, February 25th. So time is very relevant according to that.
We can't pump the brakes at all.
Yeah, we cannot think time is irrelevant in regards to that. So I think we first got to shout out everybody who's donated so far. We have already somehow surpassed the amount of money that we raised all of last year. Yeah, get closer to me, buddy. Come hang out. Look at us, just guys being dudes. But we have already...
Like Dr. Phil.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you cross your legs. Like, I'm going to have to do mine just for symmetrical like that.
I got to make sure I don't have short shorts on.
Oh, why'd you look at me when you said that?
Well, you're the king.
What is Hoochie Daddy shorts is what Pound calls them, I think, right?
That is what they call them from around my way, Hoochie Daddy shorts.
Okay, I don't think that's something I necessarily want to identify as, but this is 2023. I can identify however I want. That's the beauty of this world.
I got big thighs. Nobody needs to see them.
Let's not get sidetracked here. So we are just south of $2,000 in terms of our total money raised for Special Olympics. So huge shout out to everyone who has already donated and helped. Hopefully, if you've donated $30 or more, you plan to come to the tailgate sponsored by Yoli's Cucina and Craft House the day of the plunge. Also, hiccups, which means I'm talking too much. If you've donated $50 or more, hopefully you've screenshotted your receipt, send it to Zach PGH so you can get the 30-minute photography session that he's offering for any of those. Other than that, I mean, we're just grinding away, trying to avoid the hitmen that work for the Special Olympics and just out here sidestepping left and right.
Got them another grand so they cooled out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. We've kept them at an arm's length distance for now, but no, Ralphie, all joking aside, it's been awesome to see people get up with us to support the Special Olympics, and I know we're just going to keep rolling towards that goal of 10K.
It's going to be good. Next year, for sure, we might murder that 10K, but as long as we do double, I'm going to be very, very satisfied with that.
And again, all joking aside, we know 10K is a lofty goal. Oh, what a Freudian slip that was. 10K.
They're coming.
Yeah, there's our canceled warning. No, but shout out. We know 10,000 is a lofty goal, which is what we do around here, because even if we don't get 10K, anything that we raise is already gravy in terms of what we raised last year.
Got a lot of people plunging. My idea was like 25 people plunge, and we might hit close.
Dude,
we might get 20 or 25.
There's 10 people from F45 alone.
I know a lot. Yeah, I was gonna say I know a lot of people that I know for a fact better sign up for this shit that didn't sign up for this yet.
Right, and again, we
at least 5 or 6 people that are gonna jump.
Yep, we still got 2 or 3 weeks until plunge day. You can kind of sign up or raise money up and through the 25th or the day before. A few things that people are asking. If you're not sure, we are definitely not jumping in the river on the 25th.
No, it's a swimming pool. It's kind of sanitary. It's not sanitary, but it's way better than the river.
And it's way safer. It's not anything near what Ralphie did on January 1st.
There's a lifeguard.
Yeah, exactly. So that, again.
And it's 50 fucking degrees outside. And, this one's going to be smooth sailing.
Hopefully. Last year was freezing. You remember that? I was complaining the whole time.
I looked at the 10-day, but I also don't trust Hardball no more. After he called that 4 inches of snow, we ain't get nothing.
Man, we got to get Hardball on here just to.
Yeah, we do got to get him on here.
If you
ask
know
him those hard questions.
Yeah, those hard hitting weather questions.
Are you always wrong, or do they manipulate the weather?
Or do people like Ralph only pay attention when you're wrong, aka the haters?
Well, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
What about when he's right? He's right.
You're supposed to be right 99% of the time at that position.
And what job is someone complete their job?
Well, it's okay if we get like an overcast or some shit he don't see it coming.
Okay.
But it's not okay to call for worldwide giant eagle panic the night before.
That's not his fault.
And it is his fault. It is his fault. School teachers are like, oh shit, Hardball. The night before eating dinner, switching their iPads on for.
To tie back to last week's episode, shout out Kevin and Megan Resnick from CCR Gardens.
Yeah.
You are under the impression that, not the impression, I guess, but you feel that it's the teachers union that is kind of controlling the weather.
I don't think they're controlling the weather. I think they're controlling 4 or 5 people in the city that work for different news organizations as weather people. Yeah. I think it's bigger than that. I think
I imagine that.
Golf courses are in on it. Kennywood's in on it.
Why would golf courses be in on it? They don't want rain.
They tell you it's not going to rain. Well, I always say Hardball will tell you it's going to rain when it's not going to rain, so he can get the best tee times.
Okay, yeah, right. That seems like a Hardball thing, not a golf course thing. All right.
But hits him and Andrew Stocky and shit out there golfing.
Man, so shout out to Kevin and Megan from last week. That was an awesome episode. I guess we also have big news announced on Instagram this week. We talked about it a little bit. Zach PGH has accepted our fact-checking offer. I guess we'll start that up next week. He'll be around here more regularly, not necessarily on the couch, but maybe back there at the desk doing some Googles. He'll have a camera. He'll have a mic on him. He'll be basically a running member of the pod as we move forward here, which I'm excited about to finally get down to the bottom of some of these hypotheses that we have here at the Anybody Can Do This show.
I love it. Fact check me so I can fucking. You don't want me to. I'm gonna really be talking that shit. When I am worried about that. You're always like, Ralph said don't bring the laptop. I'm like, please bring your laptop.
I just
plug it into the TV and let's Google this shit.
I just cannot multitask.
We do have to grab another. We have to grab a third camera to put the camera on the television for when.
True.
When I hit you with a hood fact that's absolutely right and makes everybody change their lives.
Well, I think we can do that because we can have this camera on us, we can have a GoPro on Zach, and then a GoPro on the TV, and we'll get it all squared away.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so look out for that coming next week.
Franklin and all that shit.
Yeah, right. I guess we also got to shout out Zach PGH. Hooked us up with a dope shout out from Jersey Jerry from Barstool, speaking of the Polar Plunge. So that was dope. Thanks, Jersey Jerry, for that. We love you here at the Anybody Can Do This show. If you want to come on and discuss it more, holler at us. Other than that, I guess we should get into our guest for this week.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is. There's a big art exhibit coming to Stage AE this Saturday, headed by our man Vinny at VC2 Art and his band of merry men, including Zeds, including the Hounds, including Trey Tipton. All a grouping that come on here and sit down and discuss what is going on this weekend at Stage AE with the Athletic Aesthetic Exhibit Installment 1. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
This is, I think, the most amount of microphones and people we will have on the show at one time.
This is 19. He came 1998 NWO style.
What does that
11
mean?
deep.
Yeah, he did. It's so big we had to move it downstairs into the restaurant.
Yeah, I had to call audible. Here. Yeah, fire code doesn't permit that many people up here.
No, we would look. If we thought the Yinzer Mob episode looked like an episode of Pornhub, imagine with the thumbnail with 6-7 dudes on this.
I didn't even think that looked like Pornhub. I just thought that looked like
meat.
Yeah. Heat.
Yeah. So Vinny, Zeds, the Hounds, Trey, they all joined to talk about kind of how they came up with this idea, what's going on at Stage AE, how you can get involved and pull up there. I know I'll be there with Mrs. Neighbor. Got my tickets today. Ralphie, I hope to see you there. I know
I buy my tickets in person, or I'm a cash person.
That's true. You're a cash man. That's true. But no, man, Vinny has supported the Polar Plunge. He was on an episode of the podcast last season, I believe. Season 6 was his first appearance.
Not too long ago,
we pulled up on him at his studio downtown. Yeah. Now he's returning the favor, pulling up on us. And this is an event that I've been seeing on Instagram. These are all people that we bang with. I want to learn a little bit about it, get the word out there, support our homies, and just hopefully anybody can pull up and support.
It's a big venue.
It is.
Fill that motherfucker.
Exactly. And it sounds like from this conversation and some things they've said both on Vinny's pod and on IG and stuff is this is the first of many types of things that they want to do like this. So a lot of it is something like stuff that we do. That a lot of it is money is going to charity. I believe Urban Impact is the name of the group, but it's mentioned many times in the sit down over in McKees Rocks is who all general admission proceeds are going to. But yeah, man, dope. I hope people can show out, and if not, at least listen to the episode and share and get
I plan on going.
Nice. And Ralph doesn't go to many things unless it's the gongs.
I mean, I like shit like that. Our people do shit. I'm always stepping out to the
facts.
Yeah. I'm always stepping out to events like this.
That's true. No, and you are always supporting people that you like their hustle, know what they're doing.
I'm interested in it because I seen like ticket prices, and I was very interested in that $30,000 ticket.
Yeah. Right.
What does that get you?
But no, and again, full episode if you want to watch it, now available on YouTube. Pull up there, you can kind of see all the madness in person. Polar Plunge, February 25th. Anything else, Ralphie, before we toss it over to the crew?
Make sure you donate. Link in the bio. Hit that Polar Plunge link up. Come tailgate. Don't forget we tailgate. You know, we're fun guys.
Yeah, we sure are. We're nice, fun young men here at the Anybody Can Do This show.
We held it down there. We hold it down in them lots.
Anytime.
And especially when we collaborate with Benny.
Facts.
It's always a fucking good time.
We don't know how to do many things well. We know how to throw a fun party, though, I think.
Yeah, I know how to have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't do nothing I don't want to do.
That is very true. Yes, perfectly put. No, but we're excited. February 25th coming up in a blink of an eye. Shout out to everybody who's involved. They're going to get involved. And I think without any further ado, we present to you a sit down
with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
They should put that on a t-shirt. Give us 3%, obviously.
I think that's a movie. We'll get copyrighted, but we should at least name the episode that.
Done. But no, fellas, this is what we do. We just get right into it. I know some of you have joined us before on previous seasons and episodes of either What's Good in the Hood or the Anybody Can Do This show, but I'm excited to get the entire group in here to, so I think we should just kick it around, maybe throw it around for people listening, watching at home on YouTube. We'll do the quick intros from everybody, and then we'll just kick it off from there. So, Vin, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so I did an episode with you guys in July?
Yep, season 6.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a good time. You came to my studio. So if you guys listened to that, you heard a little bit about me. But my name is Vinny. I'm an artist here in Pittsburgh, putting on this show here this weekend. And this is the crew. So we'll get into details and stuff.
Ralph called you in the intro the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We know that's been branded before, but yeah. If you guys want to,
I also compared it to NWO. I thought 11 people were coming in.
Yeah. Ralph knows I don't get wrestling references, so he had to dumb it down for me. Yeah. Oh no, it's just a blind spot. Not even out of strict. It was strict parents more than anything, and being deathly afraid of them. Yeah, really? My parents just hated wrestling and being afraid of my parents. Yeah, more so. Cool
Oh,
I remember.
Attitude era was nuts.
Yeah. And I remember the one time my mom caught me watching wrestling. It was with my cousins on Thanksgiving. It was 2 chicks in bikinis in the gravy pool or something. So it's I never really gave it much of a chance. So, but sorry, I interrupted intros. Ball boy. Yeah.
So my name is Zach Kroll, otherwise known as It's Bald Boy. I do AR and mixed reality sculptures for this event specifically. I also do a lot of painting. I started as a sneaker customizer, so just kind of an all-around mixed media and fashion artist. But yeah, for this event, it's mixed reality sculptures and AR work.
Boom. Beautiful.
That took forever.
I don't know if I should go as detail.
I love it. Cut up on each other. Yeah. He's a vet. He knows how we roll here. Yeah. Very few compliments around here. Yeah.
My name's Clay McCloskey, and I run hounds.
Yeah. Also returning guest to the Anybody Can Do This show.
I am. I'm returning guest. We did that in September, I think.
Yep, right around there.
Yeah, it was like right before Halloween, I remember. So yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. And now, like, Vinny, we pulled up on you, and you guys have pulled up on us here. We had to go to Soundstage B tonight.
Payback.
Yeah.
Payback time.
Yeah. So, and Zed, we got you rolling in. Yeah.
It was just a week ago.
Yeah.
We filmed it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, right. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think we filmed it 2 weeks ago, dropped last week.
I wonder if you can hear both of us if I'm...
I would just hold it up to like whoever's talking.
And then, are we looking here?
Anywhere. Yeah, we got you from multi-angles.
Zach Edgar, Chase Edgar. We are the owners of Zed's.
Perfect.
Chase Edgar, and we're the owners.
I love it. So, Vin, we've talked a lot about this event that everybody's involved in, but I don't know if we've explicitly said what's going on Saturday. So I'm excited and at not your average venue either, I would say. So like huge.
Yeah, it's a big event. Like I told everyone upstairs, I'm like super excited, but I'm also gonna throw up. I think there's so many moving pieces to this, and it all started like, I've been, doing the podcast now and like wanting to do something in person as like a celebration of that. But like I never imagined that this painting series would lead to this. I initially kind of thought that it would be just me and some friends hanging out, have some drinks, display the paintings, like local brewery that would like love to have us and just spend a couple $100. Yeah. But, got some sponsors that are really involved and honestly, on top of just like being a sponsor, like just good people, like shout out to Brian Hess from the Pavement Group. And he's really the person who's brought this to life because, he's backed it. So
right.
Once they got involved, it was like, okay, this is bigger than just me and my paintings and some friends. And we got, the team together. That's when I started kind of like pitching the vision to them. They kind of came on board, took it from there.
Yeah.
Basically
so I guess did that?
Yeah, help. You just said help.
So
I got less than a month.
That was gonna be my question. Was the original intention for this to have this whole group involved, or was that something that kind of morphed as the idea grew?
I think it was like, it definitely morphed, and I feel like we're a week out and it's still morphing, but like, I think it was like, okay, this is going to be a big thing. We're like actually like raising money for a charity. There's going to be a lot of like effort that goes into this. And I just was like, I'm going to just reach out to the people who have like done my podcast in the past or like have helped with the podcast or helped with like whatever. And like, we've had like these dreams of doing something together. Last year we were planning an event to do teach high school kids how to customize sneakers.
Awesome.
And it was just so hard to start with the idea and try to find funding for it. And for this one, it was the opposite, where we had some backing and we just had to bring the show together. So I already had we'd already wanted to work together last year, and it was like hard to work from behind trying to find the funding. So now once I got the funding to throw an event, I had these paintings I had been doing, and I'm like, well, I could make this all about me, or I could like bring a whole team involved and like reach different pockets of the city that I would never tap into myself.
Right. And I heard you talk about, again, you shouted out the sponsors, but another shout out for them giving you that leniency and trust, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To basically believe in your products that they've seen, believe in, I'm sure, a couple meetings or whatever it may be, but really like just giving you the rope to go and do whatever you feel is going to be the best event. That's sick.
It comes back to like Brian, and I had a couple meetings with him, and he really loved my art and like what I'm doing, and the fact that it's not just centered around, myself. Like I have like a heart to give back. So like that kind of matches theirs. And they're like, okay, well then we're doing the same mission here. Like, why don't we? They have like a part of their branding that I've actually been helping them with is like they do this thing called One Team. So whether you work with them in any capacity, like all part of this one team. So like,
awesome.
That's kind of the launching of that at this event is just a collaborative effort in everything we do.
Cool. And I guess before we get into kind of how everybody else is going to be involved or set up at the show, you alluded to it a little bit. All the general admission proceeds are going directly to charity, right? Did I get that right?
Steel City Impact.
Okay, all right, yeah. So I thought it was Urban Impact. I'm glad you cleared that up for me. Okay, all right, yeah. Steel
Very
City
similar
Impact.
names, but yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, and that's out in McKees Rocks,
Yeah,
right?
so they serve that community and like, you know, they help with like a bunch of youth initiatives and just helping out that area. So if you can go to their website and see like exactly what they do, but they're great. They're like good people. Some people like Ryan Chazier, notable names are on the board of it.
Yep.
Simon Arias, a couple other names that people are probably familiar with, but yeah, they really bring that to life. So we're just gonna give the money to them, and like, you know, we like what they're doing, so we're just gonna come behind them and raise that
Awesome.
money.
And I think that, like you're saying, that it's just another aspect that speaks to who you are, at least in the little bit of time that we've spent together, is, yeah, you're doing it to showcase your stuff and celebrate you and your friends and all that, but also have an aspect of giving back is, I mean, something we always like to do with the Polar Plunge and stuff, just like kind of just naturally, I feel like, at least I hope, kind of germinates when you start throwing events and parties like this. I hope that people are always able to at least think back a little bit about how they can give back and at least help in the community that's supporting a little bit, at least, you know what I mean?
And I mean, and on top of that, like, dude, it's gonna be a good time.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
it's gonna be so much fun. So like, yeah, we could talk about like this, you know, the sponsors, and super appreciative of them. We could talk about like what it's going to, but like the most thing I'm excited about is just the fact that this is about to be like something the city's never seen. It's gonna be super fun. Like,
it's a party at the end of the day, you know.
I mean, we're giving away $1,000 worth of free drinks straight through the door.
What?
So like, yeah, if you get there,
gotta get there early.
We gotta get people to get there on time.
Ralphie and I will be in a tent out front the night before, just like
sneakers.
Yeah, just like trying to get into Shashevskyville, like, but that's funny. No, and Zed, you were telling me when you pulled up outside that party atmosphere is gonna at least a little bit be in your installation, or at least what you're telling me about that. Yeah. I mean, I honestly thought you were just going to do a pop-up shop and be maybe doing merch or something, but it's definitely way more involved than that. Yeah.
No merch, actually, no pop-up shop. Nothing Zed's related. This is something new for us as well, which is cool, and it probably similar feelings to Vinny, like, you know, just exciting, little scary, but that's how you grow. And one way or another, like, you just, you know, you find a way to make it happen. So this is our first installation. You know, we've created the store and different things that we do at the store in different aspects. So I feel like that's why Vinny created or, you know, trusted us on the creative side of it.
It's a natural progression for you guys.
So executing it has been cool. It's been a learning experience. And like you said, that's pretty much how you grow, which is, you know, pretty much anyone at this table is inspiring to us one way or another, because you're out here just doing it.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's why I brought you guys in, because like I walk into your store and there's so many nostalgic things that hit me in the face, and it was actually like I wanted you to be a part of this because I like what you guys do there at the store, and like, you know, you do a lot of stuff in the community also. So like, just I wanted to find a way to bring you in on it, and it was funny that we actually toured the venue, and I remember we were standing in your store afterwards, and that was when we came up with the idea for what the actual involvement that you guys would have was. So
that's crazy that was like weeks ago, but it feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there was a time where we didn't know what the installation was going to be.
Yeah, initially,
Really?
Initially,
we
it was
all
more
landed on. We're sitting in the shop bullshitting after more or less securing Stage AE. That morning we toured Bottle Rockets up in Allentown and Stage AE, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, man, if this is possible when you're standing in Stage AE, it's like this is official like a referee.
I can't imagine what like signing that rental agreement felt like. I hope it felt like scary and a sense of accomplishment too, because that's
like I said at the beginning of this. Shout out to Brian. For real.
Right.
Shout out to the pavement group. If you got any parking lots that need paved, man, go show them some love.
We need a parking lot or two in the south side. Maybe we should.
There's potholes everywhere. There's endless work for them.
Death taxes and potholes.
You just need a politician. We need to vote for me tomorrow at the special election for representative. I forget the district.
Let's go, Ralph. We have Martino for mayor.
My favorite part.
I think I need like 1,100 votes and I'd win. All right.
We raised more.
We can get a little.
I'm not even
Walking
fucking
around
playing.
at the event on Saturday, like, can you sign this? Don't look at it.
This will
Just
come
sign
out
it.
2 days after the election, so this is useless.
I was gonna say, if you need one more person to set
Tomorrow
up, we
then?
just have like a petition set up like on a folding
He'll have
table.
like a sign-in sheet up front and
Like
like sign in.
$90,000 a year job.
Like, just what? Why did I have to
chill,
sign
wear
in?
suits.
yeah. Why are they collecting my social security at the front? We just retire HQ3.
Dude, I like that. Representative Ralph has a good ring to it.
There's all types of names.
What's your slogan?
Yeah, replica Ralph. Still, that had us rolling.
Well, I'll stop. Oh, I got mad nicknames. There was the Ruger Ralph face. There's multiple faces.
Replica Ralph is my
But
favorite nickname.
I'd have to run on stopping the violence. It was very violent this afternoon in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it
And
did
if you
get
haven't
wild
seen the
over there.
news today, they murdered 2 police.
Yeah.
And
McKeesport today.
right in the port, right behind the Union.
Ralph's house.
I don't know if the second cop died, but Facebook said he died.
Yeah, hopefully
But
not.
That's an ugly day for the city. I don't want to be in charge of that. I don't want no parts of that.
That's true.
That's terrible PR.
Yeah.
But also, I would run on. I'll cut that shit out. I cut this violence out.
Who's got to transition out of that one?
Yo, going back to where we were. So, anywho, let's keep it light. But so back to square one, I guess. So Vinny reached out to. I mean, I was on his podcast in the summer. Was that?
Yeah, it was in like June or July. It was right around the same time we did ours.
Right. Yep.
It was. Yeah. It was like I think it was the first podcast out of the studio.
Yeah,
we
it
shot
was.
it right in the middle of a shop on a Monday when we were closed, and it was cool. Before that, Vinny and I had DM'd back and forth about all types of things. I mean, initially reached out a few years ago now, and we wanted to work together on a sneaker. That's actually, I think that was the first conversation.
Yeah.
Was like, let's do a custom sneaker for the store, which never happened, but it led to grander things.
Yeah.
It's usually how it works. I feel like. Yeah.
And then actually, I remember you saying how Vinny will call, and the next thing you know, we're on the phone for like a half hour. And he was talking about this collection, which is just impressive to begin with. Like, anytime I'm telling someone about this event, I know it's much more than just this collection, but like to do that quality of painting every week throughout the entire season is just impressive. Like, that alone will be, I know that's not the, it kind of is the base of the event, but at the same time, and there's much more to it than that.
Sure.
But either way, we were talking.
I don't want that to get lost in the mix,
but
though.
Before that,
Appreciate it.
he was talking about maybe going to the Super Bowl with all of these paintings.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And one thing I've learned to respect about Vinny is like I love how he just thinks big and makes it happen one way or another. Like, and that's kind of it's easy to be comfortable, but I realize through years of just whatever life, any type of experiences like that is how you grow. Is just pushing yourself and thinking bigger and just being like, and with that being said, like, and you realize like teamwork is, teamwork makes the dream work in that aspect. Like, and I've learned that at the shop too. That's something I started by myself and quickly realized, you can't do this all by yourself. Like,
Yeah, and that's you guys seem to be similar to us, where like it's way more cool and fun. It's way more fun to do stuff with your friends. And I mean, you share your studio space. Like we share in our studio space up here. You got like Zed's has always been more than just a shop. Like whether it's in the name or whatever. The Hounds, you guys are always into different things. Ball Boy, I'm newer to your work, but same thing. Yeah, right, definitely.
He's not even from this earth.
Yeah.
We room with the alien too. We share a collective with the alien.
But also just realizing I have been talking the entire time.
No, you're good. Hey.
And Zed's as a team, and I guess with Zed's being involved,
he's always been the
it
spokesperson.
comes with chasing that. We're kind of a package. So even within the installation, there's all these things happening behind the scenes that thankfully I have my team at the shop, Steve Crump included as well, who wasn't there when he filmed the episode, and he was bummed that he always shows love though.
Yeah, which we appreciate.
But so either way, I just wanted to like I said, I guess I'm doing the talking.
I like that
I was
gonna
holding
say,
the mic in front of you.
And you're talking. Still set him up for absolute failure, but he is just doing one.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was like, dog.
I saw Vinny over here just like grabbing his face.
Hopefully you can hear.
You did like a rewind on the edit of like a zoom in.
No, that's what anybody can do the show is, man. We're not the most technically savvy, but we always find a good product at the end. So yeah. Chase, what are you most excited for, I guess, about Saturday?
I mean, before that, I was gonna say, shout out to Vinny for including us and whatnot, because like you go through that every day, like just selling vintage, and that's all we could be, but we could be more and doing bigger stuff like this and connecting, and that's what I'm excited for Saturday too, is to like meet people and talk to them more, get to know them.
It is a networking event.
Yeah, it's definitely a networking event for like young professionals and whatnot, and
that's why I think you guys like. You're very much like it's. Creatives are going to be there, athletes are going to be there, musicians are going to be there, quote unquote. People who might feel like they're not involved in any of those scenes are hopefully going to be there. So that's what it really seems like, a hub for people to come, connect, hang out, enjoying what you guys got going on. Also will be cool and awesome to enjoy, but it really just does seem like the energy in the room is what you guys are trying to go after.
I was just going to say, so to that point, and what Zed was talking about as well, and Chase, is I just want to make it super clear that one of the things I'm pumped about for this event is, I was telling these guys whenever we met up last time, is that artists always determine the culture. And in Pittsburgh, I feel like there's a severe fucking lack of culture a lot of the time. And I think it takes stuff like this to bring it out and doing some cool new shit. And like, we wrapped this up in a month, but like, imagine if we had 6 months to do the next one, Yeah,
and I don't even know if it's lack of culture or it's lack of awareness about stuff like this that goes on, right? Like, I'm not trying to say that people are throwing events like this, but I do feel like sometimes something that I've learned from working in the collective now, like upstairs and being around artists, is like, I use art shows as the example, as like the tangible example. There's kind of like this feeling of, if your friends aren't the artists, or maybe you're not someone who views yourself as creative, that's not a space where you belong or you're going to be comfortable, not out of anything other than your own insecurities. At least speaking for myself, I would have never gone to an art show unless my friends were exhibiting before or whatever. And now after meeting Fancy Bread, the Narfs, like Rubles, Richard, all of them, like they've shown me that like I got to go out and seek out more of these things that I don't have direct connections to, because I always end up either meeting someone or seeing something that I never would have been. Orbis was so dope when we pulled up there last week with everybody. Ralphie, I know you were there too, but I don't know how you feel about all that.
Yeah, it was dope. I had a couple lattes late night, and then I stopped at Badamas and grabbed a fucking pie for the road home.
Life, baby. Yeah.
Dreams out here.
Yeah.
Shout out Badama.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So that's out by your neck of the woods. I just moved to the north side, and they have a location over there. I'd never had it before.
Both locations can't beat it.
Okay. All right. Is that your go-to over there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Number one.
That's my go-to in Pittsburgh. So
Oh, okay. All right.
those are my guys.
I'm a Rockaway. My soul's been sold Rockaway.
Like, talk your stuff.
I love Rockaway, but I don't like go out that way as much to get pizza. And if I am, I'm going to church, so it's like Sunday and they're not open. So like when I do go, it's like once in a while, and I love it, but it's actually Badamos. So like
I don't know how to pronounce
like it's
I
funny
just know how
like,
to eat it.
I heard one day the phone getting answered there, and I was like, man, this must be just like I thought it was just like I thought it was her Yinzer accent coming out. She's like Badamos, and
I felt bad. I walked in there like 10 minutes before they were cutting their orders off, and I'm like, let me get a pizza.
I got a hard.
Everybody stopped and looked at me like
30 minutes before close.
They're the best. They're my favorites.
I didn't know what to do, man. I thought there was going to be food at the Orbis, and I looked at the menu, and it was like a broccoli sandwich. So I tried to order it, and the waitress told me it wasn't a sandwich, and I'm like, well, what the fuck is it? And it's just broccoli and hummus. I thought it was a broccoli hummus sandwich. I'm like, it's a whack menu. But
Ralph judges the pizza place by their broccoli sandwich. As
that was Orbis.
That was Orbis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Ralph always says I only read 40% of text. Maybe I only listen to 40%.
Maybe deaf in one ear.
Yeah, I wonder why this year. Yeah. But the Hounds are going to be set up over there too, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we're not like really setting anything up in particular. I mean, we're helping out with the installation here and there, like helping with consulting and things like that. But we're really just controlling the event, managing, planning, and coordinating it to make sure this goes through. flying colors.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you guys were kind of the men behind the lens and editing and stuff of the trailer video that came out.
So I just helped direct that, but I didn't actually do any of the, we didn't do any of the actual production behind it.
Because that was awesome from soup to nuts. That thing was great. I mean, Trey, who I know is involved in the event, I thought was very cool. You never heard that term? That's an old person term.
Soup to nuts.
But like soup to nuts, you never heard that? Oh, really? Yeah. So, all right, let me give you a little history lesson here, boys. Soup to nuts, old school. I don't know where it came up with. I'm obsessed with where sayings were invented. The first course of the meal always used to be soup, and the last course always used to be nuts. So if you're talking about
soup
something incomplete,
I think we need to fact check the fuck out of that.
This is why we hired you. Someone starting next week. So very excited for all that because I know that would be. Oh yeah. So last week,
if that's some Queen Aliquippa shit, we gotta stop saying that.
No, it's not. So, no. I think the most impactful thing I took away from the trailer is just it's a collective thing. It's a group thing. It's kind of just this approachable celebration of not only people that you guys think are dope or bang with, but also people who kind of mess with your stuff and are going to show up and support it.
Like an artistic way of like kind of showing what the event is, like kind of like combining that, the athlete with the artist, and I guess I guess the only thing that production wise is that Cole actually made the score for the for the commercial. So I mean, Cole kills that stuff. I mean, that's his thing.
Because you think about like
his production is
the things that you don't think about is like when you make an ad or like something that's a promo. Like you can't just jack some audio unless you link the audio in like the apps. Because then you can't pay to promote it. You can't like put it. So like to have Cole available to custom make
from scratch, that's all just his own
so
work.
No
that's
copyright issues. Like all of the shots are created by us, edited by us. So like that whole production,
the whole crew,
is ours.
We need that guy. We need the
we need the music
guy because we just
who is that guy?
Yeah. Always hiring.
If you're out there,
email me.
We can't.
Shout out to Anthony for sure.
I'm sure. I'm sure someone's hungry out here.
Well, Ralph had a good idea. I mean, I don't know. There's like not apparently, but like any song that's over 100 years old or something like that, you can use. Like it's
I forget exactly.
So Ralph was like, we should just use Mozart for everything. Which I was like, I don't hate it.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I bang with Mozart a little bit.
We need like a Mozart with just a little heavier bass line. We're a little bit more hip hop than Mozart.
Take what's free.
Take it.
Or learn to mix it.
Yeah, that's what you should do. I'm doing enough around here. So are you.
All right, we'll make.
Zach PGH, other duties as assigned, make beats.
I'll get us an in-house beat maker from the port.
Perfect. All right.
Nice.
Will work for fucking weed and food.
You put that on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Former jobs.
We'll just hang signs out here in the front of the streets.
There's people just lease a whole bunch of them. That's how it really works. We just lease them beats.
And Clay, you hit on that Vinny's something that you talked about a lot the first time we were you were on the pod, I guess. We were at your spot. Is the intersection and combination between art and athletics or athletes, I guess more particular, is something that you're super passionate about, whether it's your pieces in general or just kind of how you approach events or presenting your stuff. You were a former athlete, and I guess that's something you talked about on your latest pod with Trey, which I thought was super interesting, and you talked about it on our show, was how athletes, often more times than others, struggle to find that identity change once their sports career is over. So I know if people haven't listened, they should go back. You and Trey go into that pretty in depth for your latest show, so we don't have to rehash too much. But that is something that has always been at the forefront of you since we met you, and definitely seems here. So I got to think this is hopefully the first of many of these types of events where you can get these combinations of things together.
Yeah, the goal is that this is like the inaugural event, and that this would be like, I mean, when you think about the title, like we weren't even sure what we were going to call it. We were going to call it like Super Bowl Art Show or something real generic, and then we're like, well, we can't use Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So like what are we going to call this thing? It's Super Bowl weekend, but like it's not necessarily geared specific. It's not a celebration of the Super Bowl. It's just so happens to be on the weekend, and I did NFL paintings throughout the year.
Yeah.
So I think that was the go-to. We were like, it's a Super Bowl show, but like. Then we started thinking about it more and more, and that's why it's titled Athletic Aesthetic Exhibit 1, because my podcast, Athletic Aesthetic, is something that is a year old now, that I have like some really big plans for this year now that we have the Pavement Group backing it, and some really cool things we're going to be launching here soon. But like we were like, well, this could be kind of like a yearly celebration in person of the community we're creating through that podcast. So, titling it Exhibit 1 allows us to have freedom in year 2, that Exhibit 2 doesn't have to be football focused, it doesn't have to be athlete focused, doesn't have to be Super Bowl. It can be, because those are a lot of our interests, but like we're free that next year we're going to do something and make Exhibit 2. But we don't know what that is. Now we'll have a year to plan it rather than a month.
Yeah, right. And that's got to be exciting to kind of have the prospect of being able to do that already, because like you said, it seems like whether it's the Pavement Group or other sponsors are totally locked into you guys and supporting whatever you want to do. And I'm excited to see how next year's iteration is even bigger than this one. So
I don't know.
I mean, it's lofty goals, man, but I'm sure when you were sitting down with, I mean, I know you weren't when you talked about it in your episode with Trey, that when you first got clicked up with the Pavement Group, you definitely didn't think it was going to be something like this.
I think I like laughed and scoffed at that because it's like, I think it'll be a bigger event next year, but like we were talking about, like we're so grateful to be doing it at Stage AE, but we don't know what it'll hold in the future. Like we might just post up at Kennywood in a pavilion one year and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Different bigger venue doesn't always mean bigger event. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be the location doesn't have to be bigger. It could be a warehouse.
That to me is almost the least important part. Like again, Stage AE just becomes the home of the show now, and that comes synonymous with that at the very least.
Would it be in year 1? We wanted to kind of go all out on a place that people are familiar with, because once people get in there and see like what we're really trying to do with these events, I think that they'll kind of follow us anywhere and like come out the next time. So, doing it at Stage AE was like strategic, because it's not, we're not trying to like flex, but it's literally like it's everyone knows Stage AE.
For
so
sure.
It kind of validates the event. Being our first year doing it. So, if you're on the fence and you're like going to go to some warehouse space versus like Stage AE, it's like, yeah, okay, this is a first time thing, but obviously it's legit if it's Stage AE. So.
I think it helps you twofold in the sense of it's your first year event, it's at Stage AE, so it gives it a lot of legitimacy. Not that it wouldn't have that without that. Right. And it's a space that you guys can grow into with this event however you like or don't like to, you know what I mean? So like I'm sure you're going to go to the event, set it up, and in the middle of the event, you guys are all going to link up and be like, man, I wish we did X, Y, and Z different. You know what I mean? So that's just all part of throwing events, I think, and being in that whole economy is just knowing that there's no perfect way to throw, there's no perfect event. You know what I mean? Something's always going to go wrong. You're always going to want to improve on something. You're always going to want it to be better than it is, at least in my opinion. So the fact that you guys have this space that's like a sandcastle, essentially, like a sandbox, you know what I mean? Like,
or a sandcastle.
Maybe next year sandcastle.
Next year, maybe on the lazy river. Floating installation.
Sandbar down at the sandbar.
That's what we want. Yeah.
You're gonna have a painting every lifeguard chair that you get to check in. And
that might have to be an 18 and over party if it's anything like my trips to the sandbar were. Like back in the day, I had a boy who was a bartender there who has some hilarious stories. Just oh my god. That's a different podcast.
I hung out there often. That was my Friday.
Exhibit on the Mon.
That's good thing. Like 22 to 25 every Friday in the summer.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, you were joking. They have that sick skate spot down on the Allegheny River. That's not the Mon side. Like right at the bottom of the stadium at the steps there. That's just like this huge flat thing.
Yep.
That would be a sick place to throw an event. Man, so I think we should also talk about a little bit, if people are interested in getting tickets before we forget all that, kind of where we can do. You have different tiered breakdowns. I know Ralphie is very interested in one tier.
One was 30 racks.
He's trying to get all the paintings.
That buys the whole. I wish.
We need a loan, and we don't go to banks for loans. So
We go to bingos for loans.
Hey man, I'm not gonna sell them all as a package if I don't ask for it. So
that makes a lot of sense.
I priced them out like I'm gonna be selling them individually for about $2,000 a pop, something like that. So I figured you buy the whole collection, you get a little bit of a discount, and you get VIP tickets, whatever. But yeah, there's a ton of different ticket options. Obviously, they don't start at $30,000. There's one ticket available.
Only one.
Literally, if you want to flex.
Willy Wonka style.
That's the ticket to grab.
Yeah.
But no, general admission starts at $10. Get you into the party. gets you know, anybody in the door gets that $1,000 worth of free drinks that we're going to divide up. So you get in there early, general admission, you get your money back in a free drink. So
hell yeah.
But before you go on though, with that general admission, you have to buy it early because if you don't, if you buy it at the door, it's going to be $20.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So, honestly, didn't know that at first. But
I'm
then
a
I
door
mentioned it
person.
on our
I'll pay
story
$20.
because
I mean,
that's a
you
good
can't,
selling
but
point.
save $10. I mean,
$10. Yeah, that's your first drink or well,
Yeah.
however, AJ.
It's for the kids.
you know what? Just get the $30K one.
I was going to get a mild VIP package.
He's like, that's what I want.
Oh man.
And there's like 3 or 4 more tiers like in there that get you different things. But just go to the website and you can see it's like, I think $10, $100, 500, 1,000, 30,000. So like, it depends what you're trying to do.
I mean, if you're trying to flex, like, go for it.
Yeah.
And again, it's at the end of the day, you said it perfectly, and it says it on the site. You'd be making these paintings, because you wanted to do the collection. So, but you would be selling them individually or as a grouping as it is. You get a significant discount if you do buy them with the show ticket. So
I mean, I know people that like own sports bars and, you know, different venues that it would be dope to hang like a whole line of those. So
you said that on the website, and I thought that was a great idea. Like if you're a bar who's looking to like renovate or just like change your vibe or just opening or whatever, and that fits your aesthetic 1,000%. That should run it in. And again, especially at a place where you'll get fans from all over, because I think that's super cool about it's. Yeah. Is there even a Steeler in the collection?
There's 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice. All right. Beautiful. I love that.
They're the only team that's been doubled up. So
okay. Nice.
I mean, like we said, this is the first event. It's Pittsburgh. It's our hometown. You know, and honestly, I feel like the 3 people that I picked were justified.
They both catch all. They were all worthy of it. Like the,
So
sure.
I mean, week 1 is actually what launched it. It was Deontay Johnson's one-handed catch against the Bengals.
Yep, I remember that.
And that's what made me want to do this collection, because I sat back and I was like, that was like an amazing catch. It'd be dope to paint that. I found a good angle of it. I painted it, and then I realized I flipped this in a couple days, and I was like, And then like I saw a highlight of Stephon Diggs week 2. He was like on the sideline, like he was like, I'm him. He was like beating his chest.
Yep.
And I was like, that was dope. So I painted him because he went off in week 2.
Yep.
And then when I started this, I didn't have a series in mind, but I did 2 paintings back to back, and I was like, And then he was like, the whole I'm him thing was like, so I was like, him collection. And then week 3 came. George Pickens catches this crazy one-handed catch, which you can see the painting ahead of time at the shop. And I was like, all right, I got to paint that. And like, so at this point, I was just painting what I wanted to paint every week. I wasn't keeping in mind that this is going to lead to a show. So that's why the first 2 out of 3 weeks are the Steelers. It was just stuff I wanted to paint.
Right.
That was the heart of me starting the series, is that I wanted to do a weekly painting that I wanted to do. So then I realized this could morph into a show. Let me bring in more teams and like more, players, and it morphed into like, doing, I think there's 15 or 16 different teams, because 3 of them are Steelers, so 15 of them are different teams. And then I released one today, which is Kenny Pickett from week 17 against the Ravens when he led the team down. So they're all justified as choosing them. There may have been a little bias in it.
Sure, but well, you were getting people involved on Instagram too, and like selecting some of them, right?
So someone said post like a poll and be like, who should I paint? And there was a couple times where Steelers were included in that poll. Someone chose, the majority was like, this other player, and I went with that other player. So I didn't pick the Steelers every time. I could have.
And
it would just be like 17 pages.
Hey, look at that. I know this is probably a way deeper conversation than you're going to be able to answer in one answer, but something you talked about with Trey on the latest show was the connection between art and athletes or sports, and often how that's perceived as shallow or not as deep as you feel it or you paint it or others that you know. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, like these like artists that do all this like augmented reality shit, they tell you that like if you just paint athletes, they you're just like skimming the surface, and like
Vinny will forever think I'm pretentious even though I'm a cool guy. I just want to make that very clear. I just want to make that very fucking
we
clear.
We precursors on this show. You'll get a chance for a rebuttal.
Okay. I'm just playing.
Just kidding.
But yeah, no, I just think like what was the question?
Just when you were talking with Trey on the show about the misconception about sports being portrayed in art as shallow.
Yeah. So, I mean, like if you played sports, you understand like the things that sports do for your life, like the team aspect, the finding a way to win in any scenario. Like you as an athlete, you're trained to not give up until the game is over. And I think that like as creatives, that's kind of the thing too, is where if you just don't give up until if you just don't give up, you'll eventually do something with your creative talent or whatever it is. But it's hard to do it alone. So that's where the team aspect kind of comes into this. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, the same way with sports, like a lot of people quit before it's kind of over. And so this show is just like a reminder that, you know, whether you're an artist or creative or whatever your passions are, it's not too late to kind of go after that. It's not too late, but the first step is to connecting with other people that are already doing it. And so that's the community we want to bring together, is creatives, athletes alike, and people that are just interested in new things that haven't been done here. So
yeah, because when I was listening to you and Trey chop it up about that point specifically, like something that I was thinking about are successful athletes at a young age are very fortunate to have two things: to be able to kind of know a portion of their identity 100% and be totally comfortable in it at a pretty young age, that being good at basketball, good at football, whatever it may be. Like you guys alluded to, not the whole personality, but definitely a point. And finding that collective of like-minded individuals who accomplish and work towards goals together. Locker room mindset. Trey talks about that. Every retired sport podcast interview that you listen to, the number one thing that people miss is the locker room, the camaraderie, that sense of belonging to a group, which I think no matter where you work or do or whatever, everyone at some portion or some aspect wants to find that feeling. So I know that's what Trey said, gravitated towards this group and this idea. I'm sure whether you guys have consciously thought about it or not, like that's a part of all your lives. Because I know in talking to all you ball boy, I'm assuming here, athlete, I mean at some aspect or another, but that is definitely...
He was the ball.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, sorry. That's funny. Yeah, I'm sorry. Rebuttal. I promise you a rebuttal. Yeah. I'll stop talking. Go off. Yeah. His jewelry's fake. Why is his t-shirt green? Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Ball boy, you've been a great sport over there. Why don't you talk a little bit about your involvement? Because honestly, you're the one that we know the least around here, so we're not just going to take Vinny's dumbass word.
I love it. No, it appears I'm a bit of an enigma around here. So so I will say, so Vinny always fucks with me, and it's totally justified too, honestly, because...
He gives it back.
Yeah, I totally do. And on top of that, I will say, like, it's kind of interesting because sports, I used to play sports. I played hockey and soccer for half my life, and at like an amateur competitive level, you know? And I ran into, actually I have a twin brother as well, and we both ended up getting like between 7 and 8 concussions from those.
Wow.
And it just rocked us.
Sure.
Eventually the doctor was just like, dude, there's no way. Like, please stop.
Yeah.
We're like, loud and clear, boss.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like, it never really, after that, it never really formed any part of an identity to me. So like coming into this really sports to me were always entertainment. They were, once it was done, it was done. I never really thought about it again, to be honest. So I often felt like kind of an outsider, especially in Pittsburgh, because it just never was an interest. I could watch a basketball game and fucking love it. I watched soccer, hockey, everything, but it just never it didn't mean much to me.
Sure, yeah.
So it's kind of cool because like Vinny presented this to me and I was incredibly grateful, not really because it was something I was so unbelievably passionate about that I had to hop on it, but because it was like an awesome challenge. It was an opportunity to think about things completely differently than I had in the past and try to understand why people do give such a shit about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of where the AR element of it comes in. And AR is augmented reality for anybody that doesn't know. So my purpose is really to interpret a lot of the objects that are going on. So like Zeb will bring in, all sorts of stuff. And you guys will see, anybody who comes to an event will see them. And I'll essentially do the counterpart to that. So if Zeb brings in a t-shirt that memorializes some Super Bowl, then what I'll do is represent somebody who is in high school that had that same feeling. You know?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So really just thinking about it from a very different outsider perspective from sports in general. That's where I'm at.
That's awesome. I think that's super necessary in an event like this, right? Because, Vinny, I'm sure that's part of the reason why, Ballboy just alluded to it there, you want him in here is almost like a different perspective. Not that, you guys are all on the same page, right? But you can get hyper-focused on things where someone like Ballboy comes in with different...
Well, I think it's simple. The title of my podcast, the tagline is where art and sports connect through conversation. So we kind of tweaked that for the show. It's where art and sports connect through installation. And I think that means all ends of that spectrum need to meet. So I think that the very far art-leaning people at this event and the people that have never picked up any sort of creative passion in their life, they're just, playing football or whatever. I want to connect that whole spectrum of people. Like, so, the idea that you don't identify with your sport as much as maybe I do, or, I don't want to speak for you, but like, I know you did as well for a while. So I think that that's important too, because if you just claim like, oh, where art and sports connect through conversation, and then it's just a big like jock fest of just athletes, that's not connecting art and sports. So that was like intentional, is to bring you in. I don't need you to be, an ex-college football player. I want your sense of the art world and the things that the average athlete doesn't even think about. That's your value of the show.
And I just to add on to that, I want to say too, like, so referring back, I made the comment about culture, and I think it was the wrong way to say it, but it does identify like a key flaw to me. I think that I have a very cynical point of view about culture and sports in this town, where it often, to me, feels like it fully embodies somebody's identity, where that's all anybody wants to talk about. And I think that kind of shows in a comment like that, where I think that the culture here is beautiful, and I think it's fucking awesome, and I love it, and I love talking about that shit. But it also feels like that's all that there is to offer sometimes when I have a conversation with people. And I guess that's my goal, is to present a different conversation.
Yeah, your goal for the night is to talk to like the deepest yinzer in this event.
I'm trying to crack it.
Well, you guys are joking, but again, he's going to be integral in this. The Hounds are going to be integral in this. Is setting up the event and all your guys' stuff is important, but like working that atmosphere to the right energy and working the room and stuff like that, that's super important. Like, you guys have all been to events that are a dead room, you know what I mean? Have a lot of bodies in there, and you need that energy of people in there, and kind of that electricity.
I think if people walk away from this event and their takeaway is, the DJ is going to be great. First of all, shout out to Ari Cole on, what's his Instagram? Ari Cole.
It's the Ari_Cole.
Yeah, so he'll be DJing the event. Great dude. But like if they walk away and they go, oh, that DJ was great, or oh, that those paintings were great, or oh, that AR was really cool, and they miss like the vibe that's the event itself. Like if one thing sticks out to them, then I think we didn't really do our job. I think our goal is to like have people walk away from there and go, I've never experienced an event like that. Like, that's really cool. It's so unique.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the cohesiveness of it, is the uniqueness that I want people to walk away and be like, wow, that was different than something I've seen in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
That's dope. Well, fellas, we've been going on for almost an hour now.
Really?
Yeah.
Were a couple things on your mind?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I feel like I've
had a couple things on my mind while they were talking.
Oh my gosh. Please go off.
First of all, just for the listeners, I did not know what augmented reality was at all. So if you don't know.
I didn't either.
So it's, honestly, it's something, and it's really cool. You can really it's hard to explain through words, but when you see it, that's when things start to click. So when we were assigned together with working, and I like the way that Zach thinks, because he makes things simple. Like, there will be times, and like with us all working together, kind of been building off of each other, and I guess that's what a collective is. And so I had no idea what AR was, and he's like, yo, you really don't even have to fully understand it. Just we're going to do our job. Yeah. Right. But, dude, I didn't know it was through Snapchat.
Come to the show with an open mind.
Yeah. Come to the show, come to the show, have Snapchat, and be ready for that.
Yeah.
But another thing was, when Zach was talking, was that, at first we were like the mental health of athletes. Then we're like, well, shit, this is more so about the mental health of humans in general, creatives, athletes, everyone, not just, athletes and creatives. But so I feel like there's just going to be a lot of positive energy in this event. That's something about Ari Cole too. Like every time I see that dude, he's just radiating positive energy. Yeah. And I just feel like, and we're going to be bringing the same. So it's going to be good vibe. It's just going to be, it's a celebration. It's not even that you have to be a certain type of person or in a certain group. Like, it's for anyone.
Right.
And I think that's super. Another thing that was on my mind is like $10 to get into an event at Stage AE. Like, it's pretty much unheard of.
Unheard of.
I mean, literally, like, my goal was that if I don't lose money on this event, it's a success. Like,
like you said, it's a passion project.
This really is.
That's something else that
I need people to show up and help.
Right.
Something else. I'm not taking any of the tickets. I just want the event to be successful.
Well, we talk about this all the time on a much smaller
I didn't mean to cut you
off. No,
No,
you're good. One last thing that was on my mind was that anyone can relate to this. And something that stuck with me was one of Vinny's promotions, which these dudes have been killing it with the promotions in such a short period of time. But he was talking about how this is something that started in his basement and he's taken it to stage AE. I feel like anyone can relate to, like, you got to start somewhere, no matter what it is you do. If it's something creative or a hobby or whatever, and if you want to make it into something bigger than that, there's really nothing to it but to do it. So this is going to be kind of, you're going to feel that as well when you're there. It's just like the fact that this started as a passion project, something he did at his house, in his basement, wherever you start, because people relate to that with the store. Early in the store, it's like I literally had a mini setup in my basement, and like that was something that I feel like people, especially around Pittsburgh, just, you know, you got to work, you got to put in the work. And I feel like the average person can respect that and relate to that. So
no, and again, that's why I was super interested in having you guys on, because like your event is a perfect example of anybody can do this attitude. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes that comes off as condescending, but it shouldn't, because like anybody can take an idea from their basement to stage A, whatever that idea is, or the comparable of the likes like that. So that's why I just wanted to learn, and that and kind of the whole teamwork,
openly showing that it takes teamwork. Like
exactly,
you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you will see an event and have no idea behind the, you know, what is happening behind the scenes or who all is working it, and they've been pretty transparent about how this came to be. And I feel like it's kind of cool that it was in a time crunch, because it's just like there was a deadline right away. It's like every day we were like, after we walked away from there, we're like, every day matters. I did take a 4-day hiatus to Disney.
That's all right.
I said that at our first meeting. We're sitting at Defer having coffee after we toured the venues, and I'm like, yo, just to be 100% honest, like, my wife and I are taking our baby to Disney. We booked this before I knew about this. Like, it's this day to this day. I'm going to have a week when we get back.
That shit's non-refundable, dog, and it cost me an arm and a leg.
I really can't go back on this.
I can't afford to cancel this trip.
I respect that so much. And even just to go back, because we were talking about the video earlier, too, so I don't want to not shout out Anthony and Dylan, who helped bring that together. Because, I mean, even, like, Anthony, he's been, like, he's active military. So, like, he went away to training halfway through, knocked out the edit for that, like, the week of, so that when he went away, like, there's so many moving pieces to this event. And, like, I love having Anthony on board, because, like, it's sometimes I think, and maybe this is like part of the athlete mentality that we're trying to, like, the stigma that we're trying to overcome, is that, like, you know, your mental health and like all this stuff. But, you know, I think it's sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, wham, you play sports, whatever. There's people in the military that have it 20 times, 30 times worse, you know, as far as like when they get out of the military trying to adjust to regular life. And we're like, oh yeah, as athletes, it's so hard. But I love having Anthony on the team, because him being military, you know, he's validated the feelings that we have as athletes. And he said, yeah, that's true that the military's, you know, it's you know, veterans struggle heavily, but that doesn't mean that, like, athlete struggles don't exist as well. They're just not, they can both coincide.
Right.
You know?
Everybody wants, like, something to take priority over something else. Like, everybody needs to rank everything or tier everything. Like, it's like, that doesn't diminish anyone else's struggle, because it's viewed as less important or impactful.
Yeah,
like,
but I've had people comment on stuff and be like, oh, you think athletes have it bad? You should imagine. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. Yes, 100% agree with you, but they can both exist.
Yeah, right. And
I'm not saying one's better than the other.
I can't imagine people get too wrapped up in that, or you get too wrapped up in that, but, like, those people are looking to make that comment, whether it's on your video or somebody else's video, or just like, but, sorry, you were going to say something.
No, just another thing that I had on my mind.
We're gonna start a new segment called
Dude, I'm just over here, straight up like Jimmy Neutron brain blasting over here. You know? And then I'm about to lose it as we
No, go ahead. Yeah.
But did I? Oh
no.
Oh, no.
Fuck, that's on me.
No, okay.
Chase remembers.
So something with working with DJs. We also do have like that brother
Telepathy,
and if Cole were here, you would see.
It would be the
We
same.
look like quadruplets.
I know. The amount of times people are like, they're like, "Yo, bro, I just bought that like crazy like vintage shirt from you,"
and
I'm like,
video you guys did.
What?
We cleared that up when they pulled.
"Oh, for real?"
So that is in that episode.
There's too many like twins and brothers in this whole collective.
Yo, I didn't know Zach had twins. That just blew my mind when you said that.
Twins. Yeah.
Makes sense. I see it there. Yeah.
Brothers from another. But just with working with these dudes, and hopefully that is also, like I said, kind of the energy that we're going to be giving off is like, everyone is busy. Everyone has stuff going on in their lives. Like, I've dealt with people who don't, it's just a selfless thing to be like, I'm so busy, to someone else who is busy in their own way. Yeah. Everyone in their own life is busy. So that's something that I've learned to have a respect for. And I feel like, not that has to do with the event, but just more so the behind the scenes with working with these dudes is like, it makes you have this like no excuses mentality, because everyone has some shit going on. So if you were, and that's something that I think we've all just, it goes unsaid. Like we're not like poking at each, with different things, like we all kind of respect that, and it goes unsaid, like I said, that everyone's busy in their own
and that's
life.
trust. You trust that everybody. It's like, I mean, the old group project analogy, right? Like you guys aren't going to be together
and that goes
for
into
every
just
inch.
like being, walking down the street and seeing anybody of any status, you walk by a homeless person, you walk by someone who just pulled up in in a G-Wagon or some shit. Like, I can hopefully the vibes or energy that we're giving will make you, and that's totally unrelated to this event, but just to look at people the same and not, just respect that everyone has something going on.
But if you buy the $30,000 ticket, we're treating you different.
You can come up to VIP.
Whatever you need.
Free drinks.
Yeah. I'll take you to the roof.
Yeah, you take me to the 50-yard line at Acdt.
Got there.
I know a guy who might have a key. We might be able to hook that up. So, guys, I think that's a perfect place to wrap this up. I was going to go deep off something else, but this is what the Anybody Can Do the show is laughing, cutting up, and you guys getting to pump something that I'm super cool to check out this weekend. So let me be the first person to thank you guys for putting this on. I already know I'm going to have a good time, sight unseen, just based on this crew.
Speaking of tiered tickets,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Ian about the plunge after this.
Oh, okay.
I was going through the menu trying
Let's
to
go.
decide.
Let's go.
I was literally just sitting there like I was about to click that I was doing the jump.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Shout out Zach PGH.
Yeah.
He pulled up to the store on Saturday, and I got a second to talk to him.
All right, if someone watching this
Jump
buys
in.
the $30,000 ticket, I'll donate 5,000 of that to the cause.
Wow.
Yo, your guys' skits have been killing me, by the way.
Oh,
Was
thank
that a
you,
big
dude.
Lebowski
It was. Yeah,
Russell Lebowski
it was.
reference.
That was Ralph's idea right there.
Got the viewer out there that's gonna snag the 30.
We're gonna find him. Yeah.
That means-
Him or her. Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
5 straight to you.
I was about to say, we're gonna go hound those people down. Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you for that. That's dope,
wife's gonna
guys.
be so
Thank you
mad.
for coming. We're gonna have all you guys back here soon in maybe a little bit more segmented fashion. But good luck this weekend. Have fun and.
What did you call? You said the elite. What was the group of gentlemen? Wait,
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Or NWO.
Baby. Come on, guys. Come on, someone get me.
Yes.
Too sweet.